So I just want to do a quick post here about growing apples in a small space. So if you've got a small garden, you'll see what we've done here. You can probably see is we've trained this, it's a Jonathan apple, onto the fence line. So it's trained on the fence line, so it's quite wide, you know, its spread is quite wide, but it's in quite a narrow space, so great for fences or just for putting in a structure. This tree is a prolific tree. The crop on it this year isn't as heavy as last year. They're also ripe a bit earlier this year than normal. But last year we got a fish bin and a half from this one tree. I've moved slightly so you can see the shape of it a bit better with the fence line. So you can see that it's in quite a narrow space. Obviously one of the issues with apples is getting the pollination. And so you need to have different varieties of apples to get pollination. And so if you've got a decent fence line, you can put a few apples on as either espaliered trees or as cordons, which is just a kind of a single stem which will still produce fruit. And then you can get the pollination and productivity from a small space. And this is another of the apples on the fence line, which is, this one's a woolly sharp. And again, you can see we've got good crops coming on this one as well. This one needs a bit of judicious pruning to get it back into shape because it's coming out from the fence a bit. But you get the idea of planting them on the fence line and getting a lot in a small area. Another thing you can do to help pollination is to plant crab apples. This is a golden hornet crab apple that produces lots of very small apples. They're okay to eat, but they're a bit sharp. But the main thing is it helps the pollination, and it's a small tree and a small rootstock. So the other thing to say about these espaliered trees, and this isn't always what you read, but what you need to get is trees on small rootstocks. So you want your apples for espaliering to be on an M9 or M26, so that it's a tree that is naturally a small tree. If you try and espalier one of the big rootstock trees, so a 793 or a Northern Spy, you can do it, but you're fighting the nature of the tree all the time because the tree wants to grow very big and you're trying to keep it small. So you start with a small tree on a small rootstock and then train it on the fence or structure that you build. So this is another espaliered tree. This one's a Winesap, also trained on the fence line. Also could do with some pruning in the winter to sort it out, but you can see again good crops coming in a small area from the Winesap. So our last of our espaliered apples, I'm going to show you. We do have more, but this is just the last one I'm going to show you. This one's a Wilson's Own. This one's been slow to get going, but it has started producing fruit this year, which we're really pleased about. So we haven't had lots from this one yet, but I'm sure we will as time goes on.